Hello everybody, Daniel here, bringing you a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary once again. So I think the one thing I've done more than anything else while I've been playing TF2 is standard engineer nesting. Like default wrench, getting a sentry up, protecting a bomb like this. I've done this more than anything else in this game. Particularly on Nightfall as well. It's actually my favourite map, which I'm so glad I actually found a game on it because no one seems to play this. I don't understand why. I absolutely adore this map. But I've done this more than anything else now, and something that I have to kind of talk about every now and then is why I actually do this, because let's be honest, this probably isn't the most exciting of things to do. I'm kind of just sitting on the bomb as my team all runs off into the distance, and kind of just left here. And that puts a lot of pressure on you as well, because your team is kind of absent, and essentially if the other team wins, it's a bit your fault, because you're the one who's supposed to be protecting that bomb. So, it's not the most exciting role to play. There's a lot of pressure on you. You get a lot of blame if something goes horribly, catastrophically wrong. So why would you play this? Is something that I feel like I have to address every now and then. It's one of the roles in the game where people are actually quite reluctant to play it, and I think it's kind of on par with Medic in this sense, because you're very reliant on your team to actually do things here. Like, you are the one who's just like kind of staying back and essentially holding down a position. You've got to rely on your team to actually complete the game then, and you're just put in a very awkward spot where if your team isn't pushing the objective or not doing too well, you're probably not going to be able to do too much yourself, unless you get a bit lucky with a sentry placement that's incredibly aggressive, but for the most part that doesn't work, and you're kind of just stuck here. It's like, well, what do I do? So I'll give you an example of this reliance right here. So this heavy decided to crouch behind the bomb here. I really can't touch him, so I kind of just had to run and sit on the bomb, which really isn't a great situation to get yourself in, because a lot of things could have gone horribly wrong there. Like, if someone else showed up, I probably would have died. There's like a rooftop bit above me, so if someone showed up there, they probably would have killed me that way as well. And they probably could have taken out my sentry as well, and just essentially won the game. So that's a situation where I kind of got very lucky. But in all honesty, what I was kind of counting on there is that maybe my team will actually show up and get this guy before someone else gets me. And you are quite reliant in that sense, and it does actually apply to defense. A lot of people think that engineers can just hold their own in their entirety whenever you're defending on a payload map or something like that. And that's not really true. You're still incredibly reliant on having support with you. Having a pyro always just greatly helps. What I've come to realise, though, is that for the most part, you really can't be an independent engineer. To the degree that you can be, like, independent as some other classes. Like, Sniper is the best example, probably, of that. You just go off, do your own thing. You're grand. Spy as well. For Engineer, that doesn't really work. You, like, no matter what the scenario is, you are kind of reliant on your team to help you in that sense. Now, thankfully, this happens to be Team Fortress 2, as a clue in the title, as to how you might function as Engineer, but that's not why I like playing Engineer so much. The reason I play Engineer so much is that it changes TF2 from an FPS to a sort of management simulation. Now, if you think about what you're doing as Engineer, you are actually kind of coordinating and structuring your team quite a bit. Depending on where you place your sentry, your team kind of knows that this is a covered ground, this is like a spot that they can kind of retreat to and defend. Depending on where you place your dispenser, you can actually coordinate your team and push them forward in such a way that they're going to be more aggressive if they have like a dispenser next to them and it's going to constantly heal them. Like, you have the power to decide that as an engineer. The same goes for your teleporter. If you manage to get your exit quite far forward, you can change your team's playstyle so much that let's just run at the enemy to let's actually backdoor the enemy. There's slight variations like that, and you get to decide it all as an engineer. You kind of structure your team in that way. Now, you might think this is a bit of a bad example of this, considering what I just said, because my teleporter's not that far forward, and let's be honest, my dispenser's right next to me. And because of the current situation with the bomb so close to the end, I didn't really have any other option. But what this actually does is it puts a greater emphasis on defense, because my team can essentially fall back to this nest now and just mount like a spectacular defense. Like, it's going to be very difficult to push past, particularly because we've got the dispenser here like this. The teleporter then is really just the best I can do in this current situation, because I can't afford to leave because it's too close. And it really didn't accomplish much anyway, because I just didn't have the opportunity to get it far enough forward. I just got taken out. But in an ideal scenario, that would be a lot more forward, just to get the team closer to the front line, like, much faster, and put more focus on air bomb and pushing that forward. My favourite thing about playing Engineer like this is you actually achieve a surprising amount of coordination for your team. And you think that this is just impossible unless you use some kind of voice chat, but you genuinely do structure your team quite a bit just by placing your teleporter, placing your dispenser, and having your sentry down. And for someone who plays pugs, that is fantastic, because that's as good as it gets for pugs. And voice chat is generally just frowned upon in pugs as well, because, well, let's be honest, you may be playing at some time like 2 in the morning, and if that's your case, you really just don't want someone screaming on their mic. Like, you don't care, that's not why you're playing. Like, yes, you do have to function as a team, but you're kind of just playing just to relax and unwind. You don't want a stressful sort of management game. I'm all for that management game, though, which is why I play Engineer, because I get to kind of do that, and it doesn't really cause stress for anyone else. Like, you don't have to worry about it, because the Engineer is organising this for you. You just have to kind of use the teleporters, use the dispensers, and just remember where the Sentry is often good. It can save you. And I guess that's why I find myself playing Engineer so much, and I guess for the same reasons as well, Medic. Because it really does just help your team like that, and really give a sense of structure to it. It's there are 2 roles that no one really, everyone's like hesitant to play, because again they're quite reliant and they're a bit slow compared to the other classes. And I'm just kind of honest about that. Like, it is a lot more exciting, I find, just to play something like Soldier and Demo. But I just really enjoy playing Engineer and Medic for those kind of reasons. It's also very relaxing. You don't have to worry, it's not as stressful as like trying to have to get headshots all the time, because you've kind of got it a bit easier compared to that. It's a relatively like low kind of skill entry. Like Medic, you pointing, like you just left click. Engineer, you whack a sentry at your wrench. There's more strategy to it than that, and of course how you do it, but the mechanic itself is kind of nice and relaxed like that, and I really like it. So just to wrap up this video, I found this hilarious. I did not know this happens, but apparently in Nightfall, when the round time is up, the cart just automatically pushes itself to the final point. Now, I had no idea this happened, so I was really panicking. I thought something was wrong with the server for a sec, because it just rolled onto the point, like, we did everything right, and we still lost! Like, I just didn't know what was happening there. It was so unfortunate. And that's the face of evil, dear God. He is staring directly into my soul. That's gonna be it for this video, though. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in a new video tomorrow. We're pumping out a lot of videos this week, so keep an eye out for it all. Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.